Well, greetings, Titans. Welcome to The Big Picture. I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On. Oh, we will look at New World EV sales in July and BMW beating Tesla. Well, praise where praise is due. In Europe, BMW EV sales exceeded Tesla sales for the first time. I love this. Now, I did get a stupid comment from a viewer who said, "Oh, this is the end of Tesla. BMW just getting into its stride. It'll wipe them off the face of the earth." And what a sad, totally biased attitude. Is VW beating Honda in ICE sales likewise going to wipe Honda off the face of the earth? Is there only ever room for one manufacturer and all others will be wiped off and perish? This is a really sad attitude, but much more common than I would like. Of course, there's plenty of room for dozens of car manufacturers in the world. Some will hold a niche position, luxury like, I don't know, Rolls-Royce, performance like Lamborghini, maybe off-road section like Land Rover. Others will just slug it out in the mass market. And most of them have survived the arrival of dozens of other new ones for over 100 years. Why should Tesla give up just because another manufacturer had some success? But before we get too carried away, let's have a look at the facts first. BMW beats Tesla appears in numerous media headlines, but BMW appears nowhere in the world top 20 EV sales, nor is in the top of the USA sales, nowhere near, coming a very creditable fifth, miles behind Tesla, but a brilliant 38% growth year on year. In fact, BMW came top, beating Tesla only in Europe, which actually saw a massive drop in total EV sales as Germany withdrew all of its subsidies. So if we look at the top 10 in Europe, Tesla sold 14,238 vehicles, just two models, the 3 and the Y. What the reports failed to mention is that Tesla sold 0 hybrids, PHEVs, plug-in hybrids, while BMW's winning total included the vast majority of them were plug-in hybrids, massively exceeding their own BEV figures. But well done them. There is plenty of space and competition's good for the industry. Let's have a look at the rest of the world, and the EV sales pretty much everywhere apart from Europe grew very nicely. 21% for China, the biggest car market in the world. Even in America, seemingly at the moment resistant to EVs, the growth was impressive. And yes, that included Ford at a record month. Seems the news of the death of EVs is grossly over-exaggerated. In contrast, the world of ICE car sales is heading towards a slow and painful death. In many countries, they are now all but finished. China, Norway, Sweden, and there are plenty of other countries where the growth rate is now more than 50%. So EV sales up, ICE sales down or flat. We can all see where this is heading. Well, the overall market, as I've often reported, is heading towards a saturation point in much of the world for the price brackets where EVs are offered. China is different. It has prices starting at £5,000, but the best-selling EV in that country is the Tesla Model Y. Strange that a premium model outsells budget ones costing well under a fifth of the price. Anyway, BYD challenges closely, but they still rely heavily on PHEVs as well. Tesla sells nearly 600,000 vehicles in China, while the cheap little £5,000 Wuling only manages a miserly quarter of that total. The problem we have in Europe and the US is that our EVs are simply way too dear to be able to crash into the mass market. In the UK, our mass market top 10 cars includes all ICE, but no cars above £30,000. Yet the very cheapest EV starts at very nearly that, 27,000, and most are 40,000 and above. We need the budget EVs out in the market right now. Luckily, they're on their way. Unfortunately, not yet readily available. You've got the Renault 5e, late 2024, early 25, Dacia Spring later this year, BYD Seagull, no firm date as yet. EV sales will continue to grow but be held back by this lack of budget EVs. It'll take well into 2025 before they appear in sensible numbers, so watch out for a market boom next year. Interesting to note that business EV car sales and business EV van sales are actually booming in the UK, and this should send a message to private buyers. You see, the fleet manager has a priority to cut costs when he's operating a fleet of dozens or sometimes hundreds of vehicles. EV critics often state that private sales have crashed. It's only commercial sales that's propping up the market. I see it as totally the other way around. Professional fleet managers know that EVs are the way forward. The private buyers at this stage do not. They don't have enough vehicles available to buy within their budget, which is mostly between 15, 20 and maybe up to £30,000. Also to note is that Tesla has now confirmed that it will be launching its own van 2025, and there will be an EV motorhome version for all you motorhomers, if that's the term. Well, it looks at first glance to have a range of around about 400 miles plus, but I do believe that most sites where motorhomes stop do have plug-in mains available to them. So you can drive virtually anywhere in the country, home charging, one charge non-stop, then simply plug in when you get there, and even if it's a trickle charge, you're there for a while. And for those idiots already writing in the comment section below that they won't have a huge motorhome stuck outside their window blocking the light, duh! You park it where you normally park it, and if you don't have access to cheap charging there, you drive it home the night before you set off. Charge it up on the cheap rate, then set off on holiday. Oh, I don't know. The pace is hotting up, so many announcements about budget EVs reaching the UK in the next 18 months. Leasing deals, despite recent hikes in prices, are still amazingly attractive, and salary sacrifice remains an absolute total no-brainer. There is nothing in these figures that surprises me. It was all so predictable. EV penetration is now at a record high, 20% globally. Europe EV sales crashed after Germany, the biggest market in Europe, just cut their subsidies. Now, I do not agree with subsidies. I believe them to be not needed, and in fact probably never were needed. If they are there, people would be crazy not to take them. But what they show to me is that the price of EVs is still out of the range of the average car buyer. Offer a decent subsidy, cheap finance or car cash off offer, then it drops into their budget and they're buying them. That totally reinforces my belief that the market will actually explode into life once there are dozens of really very good EVs available for immediate delivery in the £20,000 to £25,000 range. List of EV manufacturers launching budget versions under £25,000 this year is huge. That's VW, Kia, Hyundai, Dacia, Renault, Fiat, BYD, Dongfeng, Citroën, Alfa Romeo. I also believe Tesla will enter that market next year with the Model 2, and that's now been dropped in price, forecast to arrive here early part 2025, £20,000. And we should get later this year the budget versions of the Model 3 and the Model Y, and they're aimed between £25,000 and £35,000. If the Model Y became the world's best-selling car ever, priced at £50,000, can you imagine what will happen to the market if you can go and buy a Tesla Model 3 budget at below £30,000 and a Model 2 at £20,000? EVs are here to stay. They're likely to achieve price parity sometime in 2025, and that will be the big turning point. The day a buyer can go into a car showroom and look at, say, a Peugeot, Citroën, Renault, Hyundai, doesn't matter what it is, and see a pure petrol, a hybrid and BEV version of exactly the same model or nearest equivalent alongside each other, all at exactly the same price. That will be the day buyers can choose not on price, but on what actually suits them and their motoring needs. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Dave. If you have enjoyed this, please click the like button. Everyone counts. And also please subscribe. It makes a massive difference to the channel. So please would you subscribe? It costs nothing, but it helps us a lot. I'm Dave.